Lanhee, great to see and appreciate your time. Just back from Milwaukee, so we'll get to that in just a bit. But on the Democratic side, I mean, clearly what's happened is an intervention, right, a political intervention, and it's happened in stages. We've had Schumer and the Schumer leak, then Pelosi, and likely, possibly, former President Barack Obama himself, and all of them telling him, look, Joe, it's time. How soon is that time likely to come? We've got reports it could be as soon as this weekend.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing here in the U.S. A number of political reporters who are well-sourced are suggesting it could happen this weekend. But, you know, the reality is this is motivated by the political reality of where we are, which is that the president no longer finds himself in a position to be really competitive with Donald Trump in this race. And I think the polling showed a little bit of change after the debate, but we're seeing now the impact of the debate as well as the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Some of that data is beginning to read back in a way that's very unfavorable, particularly in the states where the president and Democrats know they have to win to capture the presidency. So I think that the political reality of the moment is more than anything what's motivating this discussion right now. And, I think Democrats, they want to win. And fundamentally, the calculus has changed from they can win with Biden to they need to win with someone else.
Who likely is that someone else going to be? I mean, there's got to be, I mean, it would be ideal or at least better, right, if we have a Biden decision made by himself to step out or drop out of the race and then publicly hand the baton over to, let's say, the VP, Kamala Harris. Or do you think it's going to be open convention and we'll have to wait until next month?
Well, either way, it's going to be Biden's choice, both with respect to when and how he steps aside, if he steps aside, I suppose. And then the question of whether he endorses the vice president or endorses the concept of an open selection at the national convention. Obviously, there are pros and cons to both. The vice president's a little bit better defined than some of the other potential candidates are. The vice president also has a strong following with elements of the Democratic base. So, you know, he's going to have to figure out, President Biden's going to have to figure out if he steps aside from this race, what does he want to do that is going to most be able to help Democrats win? I mean, that really is the goal here. This is not some altruism that's motivating a step aside. This would really be stepping aside because he believes it is in the better political interest for the Democratic Party at the presidential level as well. So let's not forget about the down ticket races in Congress as well, where a strong showing by the president, by the Democrats in that presidential race will create a dynamic that will help ensure that Democrats can get across the finish line in Senate and House races as well. So he's just going to do, I think, what ends up being best or what the data tells him are best. But that's something that there is conflicting reporting on right now.
Lanhee, talking about the data, we've both probably seen the same polls which suggest that Michelle Obama is actually polls even stronger than Kamala Harris. But I mean, up to this point, she's still never publicly said she's up for it. A pairing of Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama as her running mate as VP, does that make sense, or is that unlikely?
Well, what we've heard is that the vice president is thinking about teaming up with a swing state governor, probably somebody who's perceived to be more moderate. So that would be Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky, Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. These are people who, at least in theoretical testing, have done pretty well. And frankly, you know, you want to go to a state that you need to win. So if you talk about Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro is the Democratic governor of that state, somebody who could potentially draw the support of Pennsylvanians, and that'd be very helpful in the electoral calculus. But look, this is all idle speculation right now, as far as I'm concerned. We'll see how this plays out. But one thing is for sure, which is that it does appear as though Biden is much closer to bowing out today than he was even 24 or 48 hours ago.